What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Edison Club. Big Boy Gaming in Smithfield, North Carolina hosted a $2,000 cash tournament this past weekend, and making it into the top 8 were some very cool decks. So today, we're going to go over those all the way from 8th place up to 1st place. As always, guys, before we get started, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Really just motivates me to keep going, getting better at the game, as well as content creation. So it is awesome when you guys hit that button and ring that bell. So, starting things off here, we have 8th place, Bernard Smith. This deck is like a hero tribute kind of stun deck. Definitely something that I haven't seen before, so we're going to jump into this and go over it card for card. We have 3 Caius the Shadow Monarch, 2 copies of Cyber Dragon, just to speed up our tribute summons, our Rises and Caius, 1 Dark Arm Dragon, 1 Ocean, 1 Stratos, 2 Infernal Prodigy, 1 Gores, 3 Tomato, 2 Ryza, 1 Sangan, 2 Snowman, 1 Spirit Reaper, 1 Tragodia, 1 Treeborn Frog. So lots of ways here to be able to tribute. We can float Tomato, or we can also go into stuff like Spirit Reaper, maybe eat a little bit of damage, or if they just swung one time, we can go into a guy that can't die by battle. Also go into our Prodigies or our Sangan. So lots of cool things we can go into here. Spells: 1 Brain Control, 1 Future Fusion, 1 Heavy, 2 Miracle, 1 MST. Rounds off the spells. Going into the traps, we have 2 Bottomless, 1 Call, 2 Deep Prison, 1 Mirror Force, 2 Regeki Break, 1 Judgment, 1 Road, 1 Torrential, and 1 Trap Dust Shoot. Rounds off the 40 card main deck. Going into the side deck, we have 2 Crow, 2 Kaiko, 2 copies of Vanity's Fiend, 2 My Body, 2 Divine Wrath, 3 Dust Tornado, and 2 Light Imprisoning Mirror. So, congratulations to you, Bernard, on your 8th place finish with your Hero Tribute Stun deck. Going into 7th place is a deck that you've already seen featured on the channel in the in-person deck profile. I'll make sure I have the link to that video in the description below so you can watch it for yourself. This was a Sky Scourge Neuralis, or I'm sorry, not Neuralis, Sky Scourge Inrise Christia's Sworn deck. Probably the best way to describe it. It's definitely a different take on Christia Sworn. You can see we have the triple copies of Christia alongside 2 Judgment Dragon and triple Sky Scourge Inrise that fuel this mini trade-in engine here. We also have stuff like Phantom of Chaos that can copy our Inrise, our Judgment Dragon, our Christia, whatever we need to copy at the time. Pretty different. This was a very different take on Christia Sworn. I'm very happy for Kevin getting 7th place. We also have the inclusion of 3 Herald of Purple Light in the side deck here. So, not really going to go over this one too much card for card. Pretty much everyone knows what all these cards do at this point. So, congratulations to you, Kevin, on your 7th place finish. Going into 6th place, we have Andrew S. I'm not going to try to say his last name, who piloted Gladiator Beast. So, always cool to see Gladiator Beast making it into the top cut of a tournament like this. We see this is more of like a historical kind of build of Gladiator Beast. Lots of times lately, we don't see Stratos and Rhoda being included in GB lists, but he chose to include these. It's very, very classic Gladiator Beast, main decking triple Book of Moon, as well as Giant Trinade over a card like Cold Wave, and triple copies of Shrink. Side deck is pretty standard. We have a couple copies of Thunder King, couple copies of D-Fissure, and some Smashing Grounds just to be able to move big things out of the way. So that's 6th place. Congratulations, Andrew. Going into 5th, we have Brandon Clark's Diva Hero Beat, main decking 1 copy of DD Warrior Lady, pretty much 2 copies because you also have the Rhoda, so it's kind of like a little bit of a warrior toolbox here. Have some different targets we can grab off Rhoda, Warrior Lady, Alias, Ocean, Stratos, so lots of cool things going on here. Yet again, another Miracle Fusion deck. This card is slowly starting to take over the format alongside Absolute Zero. So going into the side deck here, we do have this Grand Mole as well as 2 copies of Prohibition. Always really cool to see Prohibition being side decked. I always like to be able to have a card like this that can just hit pretty much any matchup as long as you know the correct cards to be calling. So 41 cards in this Diva Hero Beat deck list. Congratulations to you, Brandon. 4th place, we have my friend Ty Payne, who piloted Diva Hero, and this deck is always really cool. I'm always blown away by the amount of one-ofs that this deck actually plays, and just seems to always make it work. So it's pretty standard for Diva Hero. We do see main boarding the Dust Crush combo here. Very, very strong. nothing too out of the ordinary for Diva Hero as far as the main deck goes. In the side deck, we have Fossil Dyna, as well as Prohibition, and one copy of Super Poly. And oddly enough, we have a card in the sideboard here that we don't normally see in Edison format, which is Fiendish Chain. So I did walk by and watch a few of Ty's games throughout the course of the day, and it looked like this Fiendish Chain actually did put in some work for him. So very cool to see something just a little bit different making its way into the side deck for this. So congratulations to you, Ty, on your 4th place finish. 3rd place, we have Dragon Turbo by Mitchell Nouse, aka Hydro Pump. And it looks like he has gone away from the most recent list that most people have been hyped on, the Ghost Rider list, choosing to include things like Giant Trunade and Lightning Vortex in the main, which personally I'm a big fan of, being able to have another sweeper type card alongside your Heavy Storm, and having Vortex, you actually do have outs to things like Game 1 Fossil Dyna, Game 1 Vanity's Fiend. Those don't really come up a lot, but you don't really just want to just auto concede when that does end up happening. So Dragon Turbo, it's pretty straightforward. Most people know what this deck does at this point. Still chose to mainboard the triple Reckless Greed. On the side, we have the Clear Vice Dragon, 1 Gores. We have 2 more Dragos, probably come in tangent with Royal Oppression for things like Gladiator Beast, just putting up big monsters and backing it by oppression, slowing the game down and making it difficult for your opponent to actually be able to come back from it. Book of Moon, probably kind of the same thing. Gets over your Vanity's Fiends, over your Fossil Dynas, 2nd copy of Vortex. Then we also have a Treacherous Trap Hole in the side deck here. And some really cool cards in the extra deck here for this one of Instant Fusion. So, Mitchell, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. 2nd place, we have Cameron Saunders. You probably recognize him from his Discord name, Cameron Saunders, and he piloted Hero Frogs. So no divas here. This has pretty much become the standard Hero Frog list. Now we have this one of Junk Synchron that I've always been a big fan of in the deck, and it's just become pretty standard. It's another Miracle Fusion deck, really taking full advantage of this. Probably the deck that sets up AZ the easiest. Choosing to main deck the Trap Dust Shoot as well as the triple copies of Regeki Break. This card can really combo well when you start Junk Synchron, pulling back stuff like Swap Frog, using Swap to bounce your Treeborn, essentially just getting free discards off of Regeki Break. So it's very, very cool to be able to do things like that in this deck. And the side deck, it's pretty straightforward. We have our 3 copies of Crow, Snowman Eaters, Uni Frog, 2 Vanity's Fiend, Soul Exchange, 2 Super Poly, which is wild to me that this card is actually seeing as much play as it does now. Super Poly is pretty much officially good in every format that it has ever existed in. 2 copies of Compulsory Evacuation Device and 2 Dust Tornado. So congratulations to you, Cameron, on your 2nd place finish. 1st place, we have Justin Baker, and you can tell from the way the screen just changed, it's actually very, very close to being the same deck list. We have a main deck Torrential instead of the 3rd Regeki Break, and a few small changes in the side deck, Mirror Forces in the side deck here alongside Mind Crush. For the most part, everything is exactly the same. Hero Frog, very straightforward, not really anything that needs to be changed for the most part. You have your few trap cards. Some people will choose to main deck Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Some people put the Mirror Force in the main deck. I've seen some people choose to main deck 1 Compulse. I've seen some people choose to main board the Uni Frog. But for the most part, I would say like 36 of these cards are pretty standard in the numbers that they're played in. So lots of Miracle Fusion decks making it into the top cut of this 2K cash tournament, Big Boy Gaming. I will be updating you guys in the coming weeks as there is a pretty huge announcement that's going to be happening in Smithfield, North Carolina in December. I'm not going to give out too much information on it just yet, but I will be telling you guys that you need to be marking your calendars in December for December the 9th. It's going to be a very, very big event being held in North Carolina, and more details will soon come to follow. So, thank you guys so much for watching this. Hope that you enjoyed the list, and I hope to be bringing you more top deck lists very, very soon. This is Mike from the Edison Club, signing out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.